Some viral videos are viral for the reasons that nobody's supposed to do it again. From the beginning, it's good to have exit plan, idea, some passive income. First fake taxi ride, and here I am, hi. I heard that I will look really good with a dick in my mouth, and
All right, hello everyone. I'm glad to have you here. This is Only Monster. Today we are sharing knowledge from the inside of the industry with some useful insights, with some great experts who know what they're doing, who are ready to share a little bit of that knowledge with you. And today I'm glad to welcome Sabien DeMonia. Thank you so much for having us here this time.
welcome in my household.
This is actually crazy because every single time we tried to record something together, there were some unexpected things happening.
Yep.
And the very first interview we did was kind of a short one, a few minutes, but the second one, that was such a good one, right?
Don't worry, I can repeat that.
But it is kind of crazy that the whole district went electricity off, and it's kind of, what's going on?
Yeah, Romanian curse of demonia, I guess.
Sabien DeMonia has the influence now in
Yeah, I
many.
cursed myself because it was my interview basically. But yeah, it was a very interesting coincidence. But that brought you here. So.
Yeah, and that is wonderful. I'm so glad to be here, and I would really like to ask you a little bit about your experience, about what you do right now, something that was happening before in your path, your journey. So if you could tell a little bit about your experience, how it all started, how you are here right now where you are. But let's start from the beginning. So could you let us know a bit about your start?
Okay, so because that would be a book of 750 pages, I was like, oh, that will be a long speech. But okay, let's put it in the smaller pieces so everybody have time to get through every single part of the story because it's pretty complex. So I did start as a fetish model, an Instagram model when it was still a joke, not a job. When everybody been like, oh, it's just internet, nobody cares. That was me starting my career. Then I get a few publications in UK because I lived in UK that time. Started doing it semi-professionally for quite a few years. Got some magazine covers, some publications, been in multiple places in Europe. And eventually, step by step, I progressed to webcam. And that was my beginning. I started with webcam in Estonia. I know, pretty bizarre place to choose, but I think that place chose me. I didn't choose the place at that time. And I met a lot of creators, a lot of people from every single corner of the industry, through strippers, webcam girls, content creators, browsers, contract stars. It was an interesting bunch, and they did introduce me to the industry a little better, and obviously I heard that I will look really good with a dick in my mouth, and little that we know, I got my first fake taxi ride, and here I am, hi.
Wow, what a nice beginning.
Yeah, I forgot money and took the right taxi, I guess.
That was the direction. Speaking of what you are doing right now, I remember a little bit about the recipe book that you were talking about. And I would really like to know a little bit about what you're doing currently, what your main focus is, where do you put the most of your attention?
Well, the most of my attention currently goes into directing for Evil Angel and making my content for them because it's kind of a big thing to achieve in
Evil Angel,
yeah,
great.
Yeah, I've been asked by Mr. Stagliano himself to be a director. What kind of, I have to say, does tickle my pickle. Great. And then on top of that, I also try to work on my course for the models because, as I was mentioning a little, I did touch, technically you did mention that, that I touch every single part of industry a little bit.
That's true, totally.
I did webcam, I did content creation, I progressed into mainstream porn as, like browsers and such. And then obviously I'm also directing right now. So I'm trying to shed the light on how and where, give girls the resources, and also tell them I'm not telling anybody what to do, basically,
This is
but
important.
I do try to give them a little insights of what not to do.
Okay, yeah, this is actually a very wise way to educate, because whenever we see the good examples, you might kind of do the same, but there's a very high probability that you will not be able to achieve same results following the same path. But things that you should not be doing are kind of common for everyone, right?
Yeah, basically a lot of mistakes can be avoided, and those mistakes are like universal mistakes, I would say, that are affecting how quick your career will work out for you, the path you can choose, because obviously certain things, if done, can't be undone.
That's right.
Especially in our industry. If you do something, you can take it back, okay? Internet knows.
Always remembers.
Always remembers. It will always be, two girls, one cup. There will be always that type of stuff. Same thing with making certain steps in your career. If you decide to do it, you have to understand the consequences and where that will possibly take you, because it doesn't guarantee anything, but will definitely close the doors to certain things.
Yeah, interesting point that you're putting. This is important to know, especially when you start. So at this moment, I assume that what you do is mostly, apart from the main things that you bring the most of your attention to, you also help other people start where to begin, which things to consider, something like that, right?
Technically, when I was starting, I didn't get anything by myself, I would say, right? Someone shared the knowledge with me, maybe partially, but still. I believe in energy. If you get it, you should give it back. You shouldn't accumulate it for yourself. It's not healthy. It's supposed to go in rounds, right? And also, if you send good energy to people, then it comes back to you 3 times stronger. So I started with few people here and there giving me some sort of pointers, or at least showing me their, like, let's say, technique, how to present themselves on webcam, or what is best for this and that. So I didn't get where I am by myself. I got also people on my path who've been like showing me things and helping with stuff. So I do want to do the same. So the second I had option, I started doing like panels, and that progressed into moderation, that progressed into doing some keynotes, and at some point I got to I got a little tired of repeating the same words, because technically it will be so much better for people who just have access to it easily, right? So like, it's cool to do it all live, right? But it's very limited space. There's a limited number of people who will make it. Let's be honest, on XBs or whatever other party, half of people lose the opportunity to learn because they're too hangover for that. I've been the people, okay? I've been the people. So that being said, I decided to simply just sit down and put my words into writings and give more people a chance to actually, access that.
Absolutely. At what stage are you currently? This preparation for launch or?
I'm a busy woman. Okay, I will be honest. I did the keynote for Berlin and for Bucharest Summit, so that was like a soft launch. I also want to see if people would like to even see that, right? Because it's not necessarily the most like, I will teach you how to be the top 0.1 creator on OnlyFans bullshit, okay? I don't do that. I will not teach you how to be this or that or whatever. I can tell you what you need to be where you want to be. From my perspective too, because obviously I'm not like fucking alpha and omega myself. But I did figure out that a lot of people have a lot of follow-up questions. Girls are interested. There was interest on the, like, I had full house asking questions for 25 minutes straight. So I was like, that's my actually be good idea. So currently I did already schedule the like a structure of it, but obviously I'm multitasking like crazy, and there is that much of me, and I only have 3 holes and 2 hands, okay? So I'm trying to stretch all of them, okay? But that becomes not a curse for models, it becomes another book of, I don't know, Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I wish I would be a Marvel character who can like multitask to this extent. But that being said, for now, I do already have some sort of idea structure and like the base. Now I just have to finally sit down and fully like, because it's also a learning process for me.
Sure.
First time ever doing fucking cars. So I know stuff, but now how to put it into something that is accessible, easy, and you know the technical side of things is a little bit more tricky than I thought. But we're getting there. I'm really hoping, with a little bit of luck and tiny bit more time, to have it like properly to launch it on XBs in September. It would be nice.
Do you have some kind of a waiting list for the people who are interested?
There was a bunch of people who actually signed on the website I have, sabiendemonia.com, and they're already waiting. I have a bunch of girls actually texting me on WhatsApp and such, so I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Great, great. I'm glad that you do that kind of thing, and I understand and I feel like there is a demand. There are so many people who need to know, who are actually interested in knowing more, and maybe some of them are even choosing the path at this stage, but avoiding mistakes is something.
I mean, that's like one of the crucial parts of my keynote. You know, we don't operate money per se in our industry, but time is money. That's like the most important part of our job. That's something you can't take back, and that's something what is the most valuable. That's why it's important to know how to create content or create whatever is the part we are in, to monetize it to fucking death. Okay? Because that's why some, for example, webcam companies start letting us to record our shows. Because you work once, you sell it twice. The more you can resell the same piece of content, the more content you can create instead, and like the monetization is the key, right? So a lot of people don't even know that they can, like the basics. You would assume it's so, you know, easy to think of that type of stuff, but yet no. I was actually recording my shows before it was even available as a bit on the website, yeah, as a tool. It wasn't even a tool on most of the websites, and I had this camera behind my webcam recording it, because technically, why would I do it once if I can record it and then resell it multiple times? There is nothing better than having multiple, you know, options to monetize passively.
This is actually a great advice, I guess. This is something that needs to be considered, like why not? And speaking of the choosing path and different kind of things that someone who just starts might want to consider for themselves. For example, I know some content creators who focus on OnlyFans, some webcam live stream models who focus on webcam. Mm-hmm. I know that you personally do multiple things, and you are like growing in so many different so many different directions and branches. And could you give some kind of a share some perspective how you see it? Is it really the matter of just choice, or why would someone prefer to prioritize one thing over everything else, and why it is reasonable to have multiple?
Technically, both ways are good. Prioritizing is important, because you know you can't do everything. If you do everything, you do nothing. Basically, if you're good in everything, it means you're shit. Yeah. Or at least mid in everything you're doing. So prioritizing based on how as a performer you feel in certain fields makes sense, right? Some people are better in webcam because they like to sit down and like build the audience and whatsoever. Some other people like to just make the clip and have it done and call it a day, right? And they don't want to sit hours and talk to people on live. Makes sense too. But that being said, some people just don't understand it's not necessary, because technically it's not. If you're sitting on webcam, you can record your webcam. It doesn't cost you nothing, and you still can use it as a clip, so you can multiply your income. Having a little bit of time online wouldn't hurt you. You're anyway doing those lives on TikTok or whatever. It's good. You don't necessarily have to do it non-stop, but it's good to also explore your options. And then on the end of the line, a lot of people, like 99% of people, doesn't really think of long-term plan. Every business, not only adult, but specifically adult, since it's very difficult to rebrand yourself from adult to something else, should have end game. The moment you have to sit down and be like, hey, okay, I'm starting doing this, and this. Am I prepared for that to be seen by people? I don't want to see that. Because, oh my God, so many girls being like, oh yeah, like, but I don't show my face. I'm like, yeah, and you have a tattoo on your left nipple. Everybody knows from your friends group, whatever. Eventually someone will pay you enough to take that mask off. If you don't feel like doing something that someone from your family will find out, don't do it at all. Just don't do it.
Eventually they will.
The internet doesn't forget. Simple as it is. And there will be the stupidest way they will find out when you are completely not prepared for it. It's the worst thing what can happen to you, and you can't take it back. So first and foremost, before you even starting, make sure you're ready to be there, okay? Don't be like, oh yeah, nobody will know, it's just for 2 months, I just want to buy yourself something. No. I know people who like lost their jobs, their families, they didn't stop talking to them, their kids been kicked out from the school, like a bunch of stuff happens because, you know, it's adult still. If you don't have to, if you don't feel like it, if you don't think that this is your future, don't. Simply just don't think that Bonnie Blue said, oh yeah, I make millions, and you will do millions. No, this is not how it works. So if you don't feel this type of job, don't start. That's first thing. Second thing, when you want to start and you're like 100% sure you want to do it, think of yourself as a brand, not as a person, because eventually you will become one if you want to, you know, scale. It's important to look at your business as a business. You are the business, right? And the third thing, what is really important, is the fact that eventually your house will give up, your body will give up, you will be tired, you will have enough, you will not want to be on front of the camera, and you have to think of your exit plan too. From the beginning, not from the middle, not from the end. From the beginning, it's good to have exit plan idea, some passive incomes coming and going in the background, simply so you are, you know, financially stable enough to eventually say, no, I want to go sleep, let's have a nap.
Totally makes sense to me. I can see how it happens in terms of the time range within which it's the top peak. When you perform, you do actively a lot of stuff, and the end of it might result to be sooner than not necessarily.
There is no rule to it, but you know, people get hit with burnouts, sickness happening. It's a physical job on the end of the day. So if anything happens, you have to be prepared for it. Something might go wrong on the set overnight. Your platform can disappear. That's going back to the question of should they just focus on one thing and only one thing, or do multiple? Remember, today we have OnlyFans, tomorrow we might not have it. Yesterday there was a Pornhub, today they almost gone. You can't rely on one platform and one platform only. Never ever keep all your fucking eggs in one basket, because this basket can be end of you. And you can lose your content, you can lose your whole, everything basically. And we all remember the scare when the OnlyFans was like, actually, you know what, sex work, get fucked.
Yeah.
It didn't even happen, but how many people, you know, wake up to information, oh, tomorrow I have nothing. Yeah. There is literally nothing for me left. They took my money, my account is gone. What else? Nothing, right? So having options, having multiple streams of income in the same time is obligatory, honest to God, because let's remember how industry struggles with the banking. Those people hate us, or maybe not hate us, they love us, but they love to have a control and power over us, right? So one day the platform exists and it's all fucking shits and giggles and we are happy and the traffic is fantastic. Day after they lose their payment processor. There was at least 3 since I started my work, there was at least 3 platforms that went down just because of that.
Wow.
I think in UK there was one that simply overnight they couldn't do nothing because their whole payment processing went down.
Wow.
You have to be prepared for that.
Yeah, diversification of risks totally makes sense.
You're
to me.
losing your Instagram with millions of fucking followers. You're in deep shit, no?
How many times did you lose your Instagram?
Just once, but once with big womp. So
Overnight.
yeah, overnight, and including my fucking Facebook.
Wow.
So I lost. Funny enough, that time actually my Facebook was the most active out of all of them, and my Facebook was bringing the most sales. I guess guys over 40 likes me, but I still have people. Even now, when I was in Poland on event, there was a guy who come over and be like, "So what's happened with your Facebook?" I'm like, "Well, guess." I don't know. Ask Meta.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg hates me or something. So yeah, that can happen any given time. So again, you have to be mentally prepared because life is very unfair towards sex workers, unfortunately, with comparison, for example, to regular influencers. And you can't really rely on your numbers that much. You always have to keep like some safety, something for the dark hour, you know, because it might happen any given time.
I agree. Yeah, that totally makes sense. And speaking about some particular examples, we might consider webcam, OnlyFans, maybe some kind of performance. And speaking of all of those, I know you have experience in every single one of those branches. Maybe you could, speaking about strategies, if someone considers entering, for example, webcam or OnlyFans, maybe there is some kind of a good advice that might help, generally speaking. I know it's niche, everyone's pretty different in terms of creators, and different things will work for each other. But maybe there is something that you personally felt like an advantage and it's reasonable to do to some extent, because I know everyone has the confidential
Branding,
yeah,
the name, choosing the name. That's like possibly the most crucial decision you can make, because your name becomes your brand. It becomes some sort of staple representation of your style, of how people see you. So choosing the name that is easy to brand, easy to create the logo, easy to pronounce. Hi, Sabien DeMonia. Please don't do it to yourself. So that type of stuff, it can be make it to, and break it, you know? Like, listen, everybody know how to say, I don't know, Evie Sweet. Simple, easy, sweet. Immediately you have some sort of vibe. And that becomes her whole brand, right? It will be weird to find out that Evie Sweet is a golf girl who hates people and is very tough and she's dominatrix and kicking people in the balls. She's not. She's very sweet French girl with a very, very like sweet face and features, and her whole brand is based on her name. Then you have, for example, I don't know, Kazumi. You immediately think of someone very, you know, Asian, very like aphrodisiac, like perfect for her brand. Easy to say, easy to play with the words when you want to do all sorts of branding. That's why she have Zoomy this and Zoomy that and whatever. Simple, easy, very easy rolling out of the mouth, right? And then you have, for example, Sabien DeMonia, and it's like spelled of the name in French, because technically it's a male version of my name. I didn't think of me as a brand. That was a high school joke, okay? So it's a male version of my name mixed with DeMonia that immediately gives people chills. Thanks God I'm a golf girl who actually does follow up with this concept further, okay? I will kick your balls, I will make you bleed, I will smile in your face and call you a bitch. It's fine, but it kind of resemble with who I am. Because I also did create it because I felt like it was good to take that joke, because that was like a concept of a cruel way of laughing of me in my high school. Because I was golf, I was dark, I was really like in the corner and such, so they'd be like, oh yeah, fucking DeMonia. you know, making it like in my face. So I took the joke, and now they're wanking while crying DeMonia.
Wow, what an unexpected
I was like,
twist.
hold my beer.
Now we're
Listen.
talking. Wow.
So that being said, it took me 10 times more time. So if we're talking about being more efficient, think of the name like you're, if you would be a juice, you would use something what makes people think of a juice. So if your brand supposed to be, let's say, something very sweet and juicy, you will go with something what resemble it. And then it's easy to brand. Because the easier it is to brand yourself, the more likely you will be successful. Because the very good example, actually, that I just thought of is Siri Dial. Originally, she was just a Siri. You know how quickly she was top of the search on Pornhub? Seconds. Everybody been searching for Siri on this because there was a moment when Siri become like a meme. They try to make her into female. Siri Dial make a bank on it. Then she got out obviously the dial, so nobody sue her or whatever. But that being said, very clever branding.
Nice. Never thought of any like clever move like that. That is interesting.
The name is everything. Also, don't try to copy other people's names. We are not drag queens, we are porn stars. We are not having a house of this and house of that. Quite frankly, it will, for example, I saw an example of a webcam girl who literally copy-paste a porn star name. It was good for her in short term because everybody been searching for the porn star who doesn't do webcam and finding her instead. So she was kind of building her brand quickly on the beginning, but as soon the porn star find out, everything went to shit and she had to start over from the scratch because she had to basically just remove all her profiles.
Of course.
So it have short legs.
Wow. Yeah, also something to consider, for sure. Speaking of the course that you're making and focusing on some things not to do, if you could give a little sneak peek on some particular example which could definitely lead you somewhere you don't want to be.
Don't let people pressure you with your levels. If you don't feel like let's say if you are doing solo and people constantly demanding boy girl, don't do it until you don't feel like doing it. First, you will be uncomfortable. Second, the longer you make people wait and demand, the bigger will be the outcome when you finally decide to take the step. But that being said, obviously there's always people who are like, oh yeah, do double anal, within a month of your career. Don't. Simply just don't until you don't feel like you want it. Because on the end of the day, fans are there to enjoy your performance. They want their favorite performers to have fun at work. Because immediately the content is much better if you actually want to do it. And it's very visible when someone actually pressured himself, and then you can't get back out of it. I would definitely suggest waiting for the right moment, something what feels like now I want to do it too. Obviously don't sit on it for fucking 7 years because eventually you will lose your fan base. They will just decide, oh, she's just a solo artist, there is nothing else, and people who want to see more will leave. You have to be obviously very receptive of your fan base while still listening to yourself and get ready to the next step. Because if you build the tension and demand enough, it will be 10 times more successful on both sides, financially and for yourself as a performer.
Timing is the key, but it's also important to do what you feel like doing.
And build yourself, not just the tension from the people, but yourself to be ready to take next step and be satisfied with your choices, because on the end of the day, making that type of choices takes something out of you. If you're not ready, it kind of does kill you inside in the way that you like sacrifice yourself for people. It's not worth to sacrifice yourself. It's not necessary to sacrifice yourself, because eventually if you feel like making this step and you are on board with it and you want to do it, it will anyway sell. People will be anyway happy. But if you do it before, if you are not ready, if you feel not comfortable, you can't take it back. You will attract more people who will be pressuring even harder. And eventually the burnout will hit you quick.
Way sooner.
Yeah.
That is important. I totally agree. And this is not the first time I hear someone say that this is important, to do what you feel like doing, not to do what you
people
feel.
want you to do, because
Yeah.
on the end of the day, people will not wake up after you do it. They will not wake up in your body. You will. It's like, it's like sacrificing piece of your soul.
Yeah.
They will leave, and you will still not have that soul back. So who is more important, you or the people who will just buy it for $6.99 and just leave?
Totally. Yeah. Put yourself first. That makes sense to me, absolutely. And I remember that there was at some conference, someone was saying about the marketing part of it. When you do the traffic, reels, shorts, whatever, it is also important to go viral with something you actually enjoy doing.
That was me. Hi.
That was you.
That was the moment when we got struck with the lightning.
Exactly.
Yeah, the fucking Thor. He did just interrupt me with the biggest, like...
Is the light still on here?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We
So
can
far, bitch. It's my place. Nobody takes my electricity. So yeah, I said that because, okay, being viral is cool. But on the end of the day, viral means that you bring traffic. That traffic expects you to be whatever they saw on the viral video. So if you go viral for all the wrong reasons, let's say falling off something or being absolute fucking retard, people will just put you and the retardism you showcased in one thing and be like, okay, next time even harder and harder, more, because people like the dopamine hit to be, there constantly, and they did like you for being a retard. So now you have to spend the rest of your life doing that, okay? Look at Jake Paul, right? He did something stupid, went viral, then went another stupid, went viral, and now everybody just, oh my God, this stupid Jake Paul. He will never ever go out of that bubble because people like him for being stupid. So if that's not something would resemble with you, it will also kill your soul. And might kill you in the process.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, like, there's a reason there is one Steve O and one Jackass, okay? Because they knew what they're doing to themselves, but that was something they wanted to do forever. They're still doing it. They're like 60 years old idiots jumping from the cliff and I don't know, getting bite by the snake in the balls because they love it. If you don't want to end up like this, because don't do it. Like, think of something what can be repetitive content that you enjoy making, and then think of a twist that might make it viral. Because then, obviously, it's super easy to continuously create similar type of content and make it, let's say, for example, comedy is a really good way, because you can always make the jokes a little different. Some viral videos are viral for the reasons that nobody's supposed to do it again. Let's say 2 girls, 1 cup, okay? Let's be honest, like, okay, 1 man, 1 jar over there. I don't think this guy wanted to be viral ever again in his life, okay? So I would say he couldn't give 2 shits, but that would be not really nice of me, huh? So that being said, viral. Was worth it? Absolutely the fuck not. So, you have to like be very aware of yourself online. It sounds funny to many people, but I actually did watch multiple people did go really high up and went really low down because they couldn't replicate what they originally offered to the audience. You will hit 10,000, I don't know, 100,000 millions with something, and then you can't even replicate that. Is it worth it? No, you constantly become something that people are like, oh, I've been here because of XYZ. Now it's something else. Who cares? Nobody. And that actually does hurt you mentally as a creator. It does affect you because people are coming over with the comment section demanding what they saw originally. And that become a trap and mentally become very draining. And then a lot of people literally, the guy who was Free Britney guy, there was a guy who was screaming Free Britney while crying, really, oh my God, he almost killed himself because of that. Like, this is the level. Like, internet is a wild place where people completely forget about the fact that the person behind the camera and in front of the camera is a human too.
Wow.
So,
to that extent.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah. Listen, it's cool to be famous for a second, right? It's cool to be famous in general. We see Bella Poarch going all, millions of dollars kind of idea of a career behind her doing, like a little girl, like people, whatever she was doing with her face, like some really weird thing. And you're like, oh my God, it's so easy. But then, technically, there was a moment when Bella Poarch was trying to actually showcase who she is, and none of those people give a flying fuck.
Wow.
Because everybody wants her just to be as a little girl. You grow as a person, you grow as a creator, you want to expand and show something. And there is nothing you can show if you start from this type of level of content.
Wow, incredible. And that is actually an insight that if something made you viral, it means that something totally different might not go at all, and expecting the same thing could, but it not necessarily will.
Rebranding, changing direction in your career is 10 times more complicated and time consuming and soul sucking than actually starting with the thought of who you would like to be, what would you like to present, and even if it takes more time and it builds up within it, it's more satisfying. And on the end of the day, you can actually, as a creator, be like, this is what I do. Instead of being another Mia Khalifa who is like, I didn't know that having hijab and 3 black guys around me will be bad idea. Mm-hmm. I just want to do, I don't know, some jewelry or whatever she's doing now. Like, I want to be designer, but I saw 3 black dudes in hijab. Is that condescending? I don't know. Come on. I saw her on TikTok or something, and then someone was like, oh yeah, you have something nice, I don't know, car or whatever. What are you doing for a living? And she's like, I'm a jewelry designer. And everybody like, best meme, okay? Yeah. Okay, you have to also, even if you want to build it this way, because it's also something to be viral about, right? Being like obnoxiously contracepting to what actually you do. Like she said something completely else and it went viral too. But then you have to be prepared that this is rage baiting or that level, and you have to be prepared to basically being constantly hate online for that. Yeah. And taking online hate is not easy.
How do you manage to not give a fuck?
Oh, I'm a goth girl. I have no soul. We start with, listen,
that makes sense.
Did I mention I have a collection?
I love it.
You know how many hate comments is on my shelf? No, I'm joking. Please don't quote me on that one. No, those skulls fake. Okay, thank you. But that being said, witchcraft.
Nice.
I've simply been so used to hate in person. Online, it doesn't make any difference. I completely can't give a flying fuck, because I'm so ancient, thank you very much. I'm so old that I did actually went through the moment when I've been hated in person. That does make your skin so thick that online haters can suck my dick.
Wow, I like this
one. I even rhymed that shit.
That is nice. Okay. And what about the team? I mean, if you are looking for some new directions to follow and some new ways to expand, you would say it's better to follow your heart, do it alone, or maybe find someone to do it with and build a team?
But following your heart doesn't mean that you have to do it alone.
Good point.
You can do it in big groups. I follow my heart with all the 8 guys I had around me. But that being said, no, I would suggest to be realistic. You can't do everything by yourself. It's impossible. It's just like if you think you can do everything, you can't do shit. You just lie to yourself at this point and try to gaslight yourself that it's, oh yeah, it will be fine. I will learn how to from YouTube. No, you won't. Or you will, but to the extent it will make it mid. If you're aiming into success of top level, top tier, you choose people who can actually give you the top tier support in the fields that they are
experienced.
They are like experts. So basically, whatever you find yourself struggling with, there is definitely a person who can support you with that. Also, there is that much time you have. Like I mentioned, time is money is the most important thing. So if you're a content creator, like I don't know any mainstream YouTuber or musician or whoever else who doesn't have a crew of people. Actually, I think porn stars have the least of people around them, because we don't have like, you know, a bunch of security dudes, even though we should have. Honestly, also hot. Then we don't have like management that run everything for us. Barely any of us have PA that is full-time PA, but at least like someone who helps you with social media management while you're busy traveling, because there is like events, content creation, collabs, whatever, and you have still life, mind you, that's important. A lot of us forgets about the fact that there is supposed to be some time for life. OnlyFans required everyday chatting and whatever else. Other platforms required tons of uploads, paperwork, this, that, la 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 la. It's become crazy, like really crazy. So that being said, if you get on front of the camera, you should have someone good who is holding that camera, who knows the lighting, who knows the sound design, or who knows how to edit. We already named at least 5 different jobs that are separate full-time jobs. Then there is PR, another very important thing in industry, because, you know, competitive and whatever else. PR is fantastic to supply you with information where to go to, for example, have a good exposure. They also help usually with the awards, because that's another process and a half, and those awards are piling and piling and piling, and they're a very good idea to promote yourself within the industry, because a lot of people pay attention to that. And then on top of that, there is scheduling of your trips, whatever. So having at least some level of PA in the team would be nice, you know. So depending on obviously how much work there is, how big is the level, I would suggest to have at least 1-2 people minimum as soon as possible. I started as a 2-people team and then start growing into. Right now, how many? 1, 2, how many people is now in the makeup artist, videographer, you as a second videographer after you, editor, second editor, and PR lady 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is quite detailed and elaborated.
I still
depiction.
need PA. If you want to be my PA, please send me fucking CV.
That is, by the way, a very valid point. If someone is looking into collaborating with you, offering you something, or just simply want to learn from you, I suppose they can go to your website, sabiendemonia.com, where they get in touch with you.
There's
with your
newsletter.
team.
You can also email me. My email, my social media, everything is on my website. So
we will make sure to leave it in the below description. Yeah. Great. I mean, this all totally makes sense to me. And, you know, whenever someone shares that perspective from the inside, for me, it's always like insightful. And if I was the person who is aiming to begin, I would definitely find it valuable. And I'm pretty certain that people who are watching us today will also find it valuable. The advice, what to do, what not to do, which is even more important, and things to consider, most importantly. I believe this.
It's all about the perspective, you know. When you start business, no matter what business, you have to have a perspective of someone who would like to be successful, because if you don't want to be successful, why will you even bother to do it in the first place? Then you have to be also thoughtful of what this business required. And it's not just, you know, sucking the dick, but it's also paying your taxes, for example, or scheduling your shows, or planning your trips, and whatever boring shit we have to do to actually achieve the fun part. Testing, all that stuff. It's like a list of things that have to be done before it's successfully, you know, finalized the way it's satisfying and fun for everybody, right? Because it sounds easy or looks easy basically when you watch it, but then in the most simple collaboration, there goes preparation of the place, time, crew, testing, agreement, where we posting it, how, and I'm talking about just collabs. Where we posting, what time, so everybody are on one page, because there paperwork, because there is so many levels to it to screw it. or end up, instead of successful collaboration, in conflict with the other person. For example, I heard about that more and more frequently, actually, that it's all fun, shits and giggles until collab is finished, but then there is a lack of communication, lack of this and that and whatever, and then someone is really upset that the other person did something because they didn't pre-organize, let's say, release date, or didn't agree where it will be posted and stuff like that, right?
The price.
Price, it's another level, okay? Usually people are not that picky, but it becomes a thing too. So that all require time and understanding of the process, right? And I know that a lot of new people simply lack the perspective of what is this business about. Everybody sees just the tip of the iceberg, or the dick in this situation, where they completely forget this. It doesn't matter even if you are like just basically girl or solo, any type of content creator have to think of taxes, paperwork, quality of a content, schedules, trips, all that have so many levels to it, right? And you have to also think, what is your business plan for this year? What will be the scaling process of your business? Where do you want to get? What will actually satisfy you? Like I don't know many people who can tell, okay, you started it, you're already doing it. Where do you feel like you will finish? Before it will finish you. Because again, very intense, on your body and mentality. A lot of people don't think what will happen if you will have to finish tomorrow because something, God forbid, happened. You will just simply not be capable of doing it. Or even now, there was a few weeks ago, situation when there was so close for the lockdown of whole industry because of the positive testing of performance in states. There was like hold on all production. People freaked out. I'm like, so you didn't think that any given time someone can test positive for HIV and we will have to stop? When I was starting my career, I started literally first week of me being in porn, boom, lockdown because someone tested positive for HIV here in Europe. 3 months lockdown of whole industry, everything cancelled, nothing happening, no shoots happens. And then as soon they reopened, coronavirus, thank you very much. So it was like wombo combo, you know? Of course, unlikely again, but you have to be aware of if we will have to stop shooting. Do I have enough content for next 3 months to keep me sustainable, or idea what can I do instead? Like that type of stuff. People lack perspective. This is the biggest mistake, I think, full stop. They think now is good, today is okay, I'm doing it, I'm loving it, tomorrow will be the same. No, it won't. Every day is a different day, something can happen. You have to be prepared mentally, physically, financially.
Yes. I like how you put it in terms of also some passive income that could come even if something like that happens. This is actually wonderful and reasonable to have that kind of lockdowns whenever anything like that happens. So I was never just thinking about this as something that from time to time could easily happen. And
health, you can't predict the virus is coming in and out, people testing positive. It's like, oh yeah, every day, every 14 days we test. Sure. But everybody assume it will be always good. And not necessarily that can happen, Sometimes it can be something small for you and it will be just simple gonorrhea. But it might be something much more severe in some situations. And then you also have to take that under consideration, because that's why we have testing in place, to be aware and then act upon it. I actually did enter industry finding out the hard way. Maybe that's why I have a little better perspective. I wouldn't say if I wouldn't witness that, I would think of it. But I know that there is a lot of fresh new performers and creators after coronavirus entering the chat, thinking it will be exactly the same, like, for example, during the coronavirus. What is impossible because people don't wank that much. They actually have jobs now. And they have to go out of the house and they can go for holiday instead, being sad and just sit in the house, yeah? So you ask me why do I multitask between platforms? This is literally why, because on the end of the day, in case if let's say I have no bookings in mainstream porn, or I can't have enough budget to pay for my next production, I can keep myself occupied with streaming.
Totally makes sense to me. And I really like the responsibility of the entire industry and the personal consideration of those important things to think about when you're entering, or if you are already in the industry, you might still find this something to think about for sure.
That's why on my course I constantly compare porn to cooking. You know, you might run out of ingredients. You might actually, it's like, when adulting hits you the hardest? When you figure out that you have to think of what you will eat for the dinner for the rest of your life and prepare it.
Oof.
Exactly. This is the concept you should have in your mind when it comes to your work. In case of tomorrow, what will you cook for the dinner? And day after, what you have to eat till the end of your life. Not just for the first 5 years when it's tasty.
Oof. Wow. Something to consider for sure.
Right? Yeah.
To add that final touch, I know that you definitely have a lot of funny stories, that something that was happening to you in the most unexpected way. Maybe you could think of some situation that recently or some time ago, maybe the moment you started your career happened to you and you were like, wow, that is unexpected. That all resulted to be
I think I already mentioned like 5 of those situations.
And what about the award? The first one that was like...
You mean the broken one?
Well, they changed the entire material.
I mean, I just gave my feedback. And they heard the crack. I'm sure that someone heard that from the inside of the building. Yeah, please don't make the glass awards anymore. Because some of us are very sloppy. And the boxes are not the most, sustainable concept when you give it to someone in the darkness upside down. Thank you very much.
It is for sure.
Yeah, it's better when they are not glass, I will be honest. Also, they don't weigh that much, and it's easier to explain on the airport what the fuck is that.
Yeah, totally. Well, wow, that is full of insights for sure.
And we still have electricity.
That's for sure.
A win is a win.
Quite important, I would say. Well, you rule here. I mean, this is your place. You say electricity to stay here, it stays. For sure. Thank you so much, Sabien.
Absolutely.
This is actually a pleasure for me, and I mean it, to be here, to see you, and to hear all those things from you, because it's funny and interesting, but it's also very important to consider in so many different ways, in so many different areas, and I really appreciate the fact that you share that you give people the possibility to learn from you, wherever they are in their current position. So thank you very much for this
insightful. Absolutely, my pleasure.
Great. Thank you everyone for watching us today. This is Only Monster doing some podcasts and people who have a lot of experience sharing their knowledge. So thank you for being here with us today. All the links are in the description below. So welcome and stay in touch.
Bye-bye.